Hi my friends. How are you? Today we will talk about the new Kia Niro. First look at the updated 2023 Kia Niro. Inside and outside, the compact electric crossover no longer looks like a modest budget car. The updated Niro has become more daring, modern and expensive. The restyling was a success. We are sure that many people will prefer the new design of Niro to what it was before. Of course, you should meet the clothes before the restyling, but there are some more serious changes which are not really there. It is not that the previous Niro were bad and they urgently needed to change something. They were comfortable and quiet car for a quiet ride. Just now against the background of competitors' characteristics of updated Kia Niro EV does not look so attractive. Among Niro hybrids and plug-in hybrids, it is the all-electric models that are considered the best. The front-wheel drive transmission with a single-speed automatic transmission is the most powerful and smoothest compared to the hybrid and plug-in hybrid Niro. This is still true for the 2023 model, with the difference that it doesn't accelerate as fast now. The peak power of the electric motor remains the same at 201 horsepower, but the torque has dropped from 395 to 255 N*M. The difference is quite significant and it is especially noticeable when starting off and accelerating. The updated Niro EV is now one of the few electric-powered cars to which the combination instant torque does not apply. The reduction in torque has had an expected effect on test results, too. The 2023 Niro EV takes 0.3 seconds longer to reach 97 km per hour than the 2019 model, even though it's 86 kilograms lighter. The new Niro EV takes 6.5 seconds to accelerate, which isn't too bad, plus the rubber will last longer, since the crossover almost never slips when starting off. However, buyers of electric cars are usually more concerned about range, and here the Kia Niro EV has a positive change. The battery capacity of the electric car is almost unchanged, but now on a single charge the crossover can travel 407 kilometers instead of 383 kilometers. Peak charging capacity has increased from 77 kilowatts to 85 kilowatts, and here Kia is lagging behind progress, as most 2023 model year electric vehicles support at least 150 kilowatts of charging power. The Niro EV looks like something in between a station wagon and a crossover, with a slightly elevated seating position, but the car itself is low and therefore hardly lops in corners. Its light and responsive steering and well-calibrated and smooth brakes provide pleasant handling in and out of town. The Niro EV's biggest drawback is not good enough damping on bumpy roads. Kia has made huge leaps in handling and suspension performance in recent years, but echoes of their older cars can still be felt in the Niro EV. The crossover visibly bounces and shakes when hitting potholes. At speed it smooths out and becomes less noticeable, but for those who drive mostly in the city, it's very little consolation. According to Kia representatives, the cost of Niro EV 2023 model year will start at $40,000, and the top-of-the-line Wave will cost $45,000. These prices are virtually unchanged from last year's model. Seemingly no problem, but earlier this year Chevrolet announced price reductions for the Bolt EV and Bolt UV, which will start at $2,695 and $28,195, respectively. The Niro EV could be forgiven for its slow charging and stiff, in some situations, suspension if Kia followed Chevrolet's lead and made its no longer state-of-the-art electric car more affordable. The Chevrolet Equinox EV will go on sale next year for about $30,000, which will be powered by the Ultium battery, offer a roomier cabin and more advanced technology. It looks like Chevrolet intends to strip Kia of the title of the best brand in terms of value for money. The Niro also competes with Kia's own EV6, with a starting price of $4,29695, offering 500 kilometers of range and fast charging to add 320 kilometers to its range in just under 20 minutes. The longer, lower, wider and more stylish EV6 rides as well as it looks, and is offered with all-wheel drive and increased range. Sitting in the older Niro, you could see and feel that the trim materials were greatly spared. The interior design in the new Niro EV is more stylish and modern, and overall the cabin looks more expensive. This does not mean that all materials are of higher quality, there is still enough hard plastic, but due to the better design and finish of this plastic the shortcomings are not conspicuous. The main attention in the cabin is attracted by the two 10.3-inch displays, placed behind a single solid glass panel. The picture on the displays looks great, but some of the car's functions are harder to use than in older models. Kia was once a leader in the usability of the infotainment system and other car functions, but in the pursuit of fashion, the company took a wrong turn. Under the center deflectors is a narrow strip with a scattering of touchscreen icons. Pressing one of them you switch between climate and multimedia, i.e. the same knob is responsible for temperature and volume control. It can be difficult to hit the small touch-sensitive buttons and you have to take your eyes off the road to do it. It can happen that when you receive a call, instead of turning up the volume, You will turn up the temperature in the cabin. Most drivers will quickly get used to the peculiarities of the controls and won't encounter such problems, but you could have made it so that these problems didn't exist at all. You can get around some of these problems by using steering wheel buttons, voice commands, or by connecting your smartphone wirelessly via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. The Niro EV in the basic wind trim has heated front seats, an electric driver's seat, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and USB connectors in the back of the front seat so passengers' devices are always charged. The more expensive package adds wireless phone charging, an electric front passenger seat, front seat ventilation, heated steering wheel, an upgraded 8-speaker audio system, and the ability to power almost any home appliance through the charging port. The Niro EV of the 2023 model year has a luggage compartment under the hood, but it can only hold a charging wire, so it is of little use. A slight increase in wheelbase length, overall length and width of the new Niro EV has had a positive effect on interior space and trunk space compared to the previous year's Niro EV. When choosing between the Niro EV and EV6, it's worth considering that the EV6 has slightly more legroom and the cabin feels slightly wider, but taller drivers and passengers may be more comfortable in the Niro EV, which has a slightly higher ceiling in both the front and rear. The rear seat cushions in the EV6 are quite low to the floor. The rear seats in the Niro EV are slightly higher and more comfortable to sit in. Kia and its subsidiaries Hyundai and Genesis constantly surprise us with original and excellent designs of their cars, and the new Niro EV is no exception. Looking at this electric car, you know right away that you are looking at an updated model. The only disappointing thing is that some other manufacturers have updated their cars more significantly than just in terms of body and interior design. That's not to say that the Niro EV is a bad car, but in order to compete and stand out, perhaps the company should follow Chevrolet's example and lower the price of the car to encourage buyers with limited budgets to switch to their electric car. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please press subscribe to my channel, click the like button and leave a comment. This is my motivation for recording new videos.